Slides before I go ahead and get started. Perfect. Welcome. If you just joined, we're just getting started. My name is Lynn Ward. I'm the program director of both the bachelor's and master's programs here at SNHU. I'm thrilled to see so many of you here this evening and very excited that you selected SNU to pursue your studies. I have a brief PowerPoint I'll go over. Oh, and if you could mute if you're not speaking, that would be awesome. I'll go over my slides and then I'll open it up for Q&A after. Welcome if you just joined. We're just getting started. I'm Dr. Ward, the program director for the bachelor's and master's HIM programs. And I have a few slides I'll go through and then we'll open it up for Q&A after. So tonight we'll talk about the team, who we are, the HIM program, and who makes up the team. We'll go over the program overview for the bachelor's program, talk about the wealth of support you have here as a student at SNHU, talk a little bit about APA formatting, the library, the RHIA certification exam, and AHIMA. So here is the HIM team. On the left-hand side, you have myself and then Professor Flagg and Professor Nelson over here on the right. Both teach in the bachelor's program, so you'll likely have them in courses. And then Dr. Johnson McNew and Dr. Moreland teach in our master's programs. So if you go on to pursue your master's, you might see them. A little bit about the bachelor's in HIM. You will gain valuable professional experience in this program, ideal for someone just starting out in health information management. And through specialized studies, the internship, you'll learn the technology, terminology, and skills required to be successful working in the HIM field. Through exposure of a professional setting, professional healthcare setting, this should help you be successful in a competitive field. The bachelor's program is CAHIM accredited. It's been accredited since 2019, so that does make you eligible to sit for the RHIA certification exam. You likely have seen the program pathway working with your advisor, but if not, you can see the courses that make up the program. There's a combination of technology-related courses. You have your core HIM courses, and then other supporting courses like medical terminology, anatomy and phys, pathophys, and then your general ed credits as well. There is what we call a professional practice experience. This is an internship, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. As I mentioned, we also have a master's program. It too is CAHIM accredited. So students who graduate from the master's are also eligible for the RHIA exam. Okay, as a student here, you have a plethora of support available to you. It's really paramount. I have not seen this high of a support system at other universities, so that is something to look forward to. Be sure to visit the academic support tab that's in your courses. Every course has that listed when you look at your modules. They offer virtual workshops on a daily basis. They have many different types of workshops available to you. to help with college writing, help with your papers. You can work with an academic coach or tutor. Also, make sure you bookmark the Shapiro Library. That too should be located in your courses as a tab in one of the learning modules, I believe. So those are two important areas that you should become familiar with. Career services. You are very fortunate. We have a very dynamic career team. They can work with you from the moment you enroll all the way through graduation. They can help you with resume prep, interview skills, practice interviewing. They have a handshake platform where you can look for jobs that might be available. So make sure that you bookmark the career page as well. And they offer many workshops as well. And here's just some contact information for careers. Citation and plagiarism. This is important just for you to be familiar with. Very important that you give credit to where you obtained your information. There are different types of plagiarism. We have a tool built into our Brightspace, our learning management system called Turnitin, where it will check all of your papers. It'll check if you're citing your sources, if you're not, where the material is coming from. So just be mindful of that. And if you're not sure, you can always reach out to your instructor and they can help you or refer you to the Writing Center. Copying or submitting someone else's work, copying and pasting, buying term papers online. These are serious types of plagiarisms, and we do have a policy around that, a student conduct policy. So just be mindful of that. Improperly citing your sources, again, can be considered plagiarism. Make sure you're paraphrasing that. In other words, that's rewriting in your own words and giving credit to the original author. Self-plagiarism, students often don't really know what this means. It means that, let's say you take a course and for one reason or another, you need to repeat that course. You might think that you can just resubmit the same exact work that you did with another professor. You would need to obtain permission from the instructor to be able to consider doing that. So just be careful with that. Writing resources, again, we have an academic honesty policy, so make sure you're familiar with that. It's a great idea to review the citing sources guides and the FAQs on the citing sources. You all should have been added to the BSHIM resource forum. That looks like a course in Brightspace, but it's not a course like your regular course. You'll never have assignments or discussions that are worth points. It's more of a place for you to go to obtain information. There are links to the career offerings that we have. There's information on the internship, information on the certification exam. So be sure and visit that resource forum. It's there to help you. You can use it as much or as little as you'd like. There's a discussion board. So if you have questions, that's a great place to post. And it's general questions like, when can I take the RHIA exam, or questions like that. And there's also a handout within the resource forum on how to use a tool called Draft Coaching. It's using office.com. So again, I know I'm throwing a lot of information at you, but if you remember one thing, it's to try to visit that resource forum. And again, it's called the BSHIM resource forum. And you should have been added to that. If you're not, please let me know. The library. You have a wonderful library here. Again, try and bookmark it. There are tons of books and articles and journals. There are librarians who can help you. As you can see, there's a 24/7 library chat. So if you need help finding something, they are there to help you. So make sure that you take advantage of that because it's a really great resource. RHIA exam. How many of you know about the RHIA exam? You can raise your hand or type in the chat, or if you don't want to say, that's fine too. Awesome. I see two raise their hands. It's okay if you're not that familiar with it. Four of you, awesome. The RHIA exam is the Registered Health Information Administrator exam. This is offered by AHIMA, and I'll put that in the chat. And that's their website if you want to check them out. The RHIA exam is a credential that many HIM professionals want to have. They study for it. Employers often will list that as a job requirement. So it's really like a symbol of quality that you've not only taken the degree, studied, and worked for it, but then you study for this exam and you obtain that credential. So it's kind of like the gold star in HIM. And you will have a course, your capstone course, HIM 480, when you get to the end of the program, where there's built-in prep material on the RHIA exam. So there will be weekly quizzes, and there's a mock exam that is similar to the actual exam. So that will be helpful to you too. This is just a little bit about the exam. When you go to apply, you have 4 months from the time you apply to the time you are scheduled to take your test. Currently, AHIMA requires that you go to a Pearson VUE testing site. There was talk about remote proctoring. I don't know where AHIMA is at with that, but currently you go to a testing site. And the material I mentioned that will be in that capstone course, you have access to that for 1 year after you finish your program. So you can always go back. You can create your own quizzes. There are flashcards in there. So you can use that to your advantage to help you study. AHIMA. AHIMA is really the gurus in everything HIM or health informatics. I just recently attended their conference. They have a conference once a year. This year it was in Salt Lake City. It was my first time attending and it was fabulous. There were 700 people there, many different sessions. There were vendors there so you could check out the newest technology. There was a lot around AI, so that was really neat. Here on the screen is a nice tool that AHIMA has. It's called the AHIMA Career Map. And at some point, you should really check that out. It's an interactive tool that all of these different dots you can click on. And let's say the ones for informatics, you're curious to know what that job entails, what degree level, what experience, things of that nature. This career map could be helpful because a lot of times students don't know right away where they want to focus once they graduate. So this career map can give you information like there's data quality, revenue cycle, privacy, etc. When I worked outside of academia, I worked in quality improvement when I worked at the hospital, and then I moved on to home health agencies where I became the HIM department coordinator. Then I moved to an orthopedic clinic where I was the HIM director. So there are all kinds of different facilities and areas where you can specialize in. It depends on what you like and what you feel your niche is. And you may not know right away. It may take time. Now I'd like to just go over some general success tips to help you be successful in the program as a student. I always recommend dedicate time each week specifically to your coursework to ensure timely submission and to help you absorb the content. Remember, you're not Yeah, or hopefully you're not only here to complete the courses, hopefully you're here to prepare for that RHIA exam. So you definitely want to retain the information. Rushing through, you might not remember as much. So time management is critical as you go on this educational journey. Communicate early in the course if you encounter any barriers to completing your work on time. Most instructors will, appreciate you contacting them. It's a different story if come week 7 of the term, you're missing all kinds of work. You reach out, can I make up work? And the instructor didn't hear from you. They don't know what happened. So it's always better to stay in constant communication. And also work with your advisor. They are your go-to person. We have an amazing advising program here. Those advisors are here to help you be successful. Some courses have templates built in to help you complete either the assignments or the final projects. Those are a great tool to follow. They go through all of the prompts in the rubric. So you won't miss a mark. You can, follow that template quite easily. Be familiar with plagiarism, how to quote, paraphrase. And again, I mentioned the Turnitin tool that can help monitor plagiarism. When I went to school, I did my master's, then my doctorate. My children were little at the time, so I had to have a really strong network of family and friends. My husband and children knew that there were times when mom couldn't go on a family hike on a weekend because I had schoolwork to do. You might find me on the beach with a textbook reading. So it's important to identify that network for yourselves because they can be there to help support you. And if you're frustrated, they can help pick you up and help you reach that finish line. And always try to be respectful for all your peers and faculty. We all deserve a safe place to learn, and we're all dedicated to improving the experience of the students. So just be mindful of that. A little bit about locating assignments. You're probably all experts now, but just like to go over this. To locate your assignments, you would pull up the course menu and select assignments from the drop-down list. You can see here announcements, learning modules, and then assignments. And then you'll find a list of all of the assignments, like for example, 1-3, EHR Go, 2-1. So that's where you can find the links that will take you to the assignment and where you would submit it. Submitting assignments, then there's a place at the bottom where you would submit that would upload your assignment. And I believe you may get an email confirming. I'm not sure. I haven't been a student here, so I'm not sure how that looks. Every assignment has its rubric. Very important for you to read through this before you complete your assignment. The rubrics is what your instructors will use to grade. You can see there are different criteria and then categories like proficient, needs improvement, or not evident. And that's what will determine your score and your grade on that assignment. So always become familiar with the rubrics. So the points that are allocated for each criteria will be total, and then that determines whether you get an A or B or etc. Brightspace notifications. This is another handy tip. You can opt in to receive Brightspace notifications so you never miss an announcement or a grade from your instructor. Let me show you how. You would have to opt in to receive these notifications. You would do this by logging into Brightspace. Click on your name here, and then there's a drop-down menu where you would pick notifications. And then you would decide where you want those notifications. Do you want them to go to your SNU email, your personal email, text messages to your phone, etc. So this is handy so that because the instructors often post helpful announcements with tips, additional resources for you to help you do your assignments. So it's always important to read those announcements. Then you can decide how often you want to receive them. Do you want to receive them every day, once a week? And you can also do some custom notifications. And then you click save, and then you'll never miss an announcement. And that takes me to the conclusion of my slideshow. So now I can open it up to you all if you have questions. I know I threw a lot at you. This is recorded and I will be sharing it out. It will be posted in the resource forum. So if you want to refer back to it, you're more than welcome. And I can also put my email in the chat. And if you want a one-on-one session, when you email me, I do have a booking app on my email signature, so you can schedule time if you have questions that you weren't able to ask this evening. So now's your time if you have questions. Christy, I can't tell, was your hand raised earlier or do you have a question now? Same with Ashley. As earlier. Okay, no problem. I do that too. Sometimes forget to take my hand down in meetings. It's wonderful to have so many of you here, and I'm so excited you decided to pick SNU. And never hesitate to reach out. And I can stay on a few more minutes if someone wants to ask questions about the RHIA, the internship, whatever is on your mind. And if you don't have any questions, that's fine too. I know you're just getting started. You'll email? Okay, no problem. All right, well, awesome. Thank you so much. I hope you have a good rest of your evening and good luck with your program, and reach out at any time. And I hope to meet you at commencement someday. Let's see. Wonder if it's a good idea to get your CCA while going through. Yeah, absolutely, Christy. The CCA is another AHIMA credential. That's the Certified Coding Associate. Never a bad idea to have multiple certifications. No problem, Rosanna. Excellent. Great to see you all, and take care and have a great night.